Blessings, everyone. It's Jules, and this is the Raise Your Vibration Summit. And, we have the honor to have Peter D with us today. And I have to say, I am super excited to see where this conversation goes. So, I would actually, if you have the opportunity to just sit down and really connect to the frequency that's about to be created here, I invite you to do that because I think you're going to love it. So, Peter, I'm just going to have you talk a little bit about who you are and then we'll see where this goes.
Jules for inviting me, and hey to everybody out there. Thanks for listening. And I really like the notion of frequency. It kind of really has been the bottom line of my life recently. I'm an awakened ascension coach. And what that means is that I use the word awaken very specifically. It means a neurobiological shift has taken place that creates a gap between experience and when my mind kicks in. So it's about 0.4 of a second for me to actually stay with an experience before mind tells me, oh, look at it this way, or remember that, or put it in that box. And then I can hear my mind going in the background, and I can choose to stay with my experience. And that changes everything. All right. And that's what I call awakening. And I've been gifted that. And everybody on the planet is going to move there. One of the things I've been gifted is the ability to transmit that. And that's what the whole thing about frequency is. It really is tapping into a frequency and being able to, once you have it, what I've discovered recently is that any ability or skill that I have, I can get into the oneness field with somebody else and then transmit. Now, they have to be able to receive, and it has to be right for their soul and everything. But this is where we're all going, is we're going to start to share incredible skills and abilities. And this is how my life has been unfolding. And I've been doing it at becomingawesome.one.one, becomingawesome.one, where my wife and I offer a variety of clearing tools and coaching sessions and classes to help you clear your vibration, because this is really what it comes to, in my mind. What's going on the planet is we're moving through a part of the galaxy that's closer to the central sun, and it's changing the energetics of everything. So the frequency is changing. The only question is, do we want to wait 400 years for all the crap to fade away? Or do we really want to get it in our lifetime or our kids' lifetime? To do that, you have to move your own blockages, your own densities, because anything, in my understanding, anything that's fully expressed turns to bliss. And if you do not fully have your emotion, which means the rage and the hate and all that other stuff that we say is no good, if you don't fully have it, it creates an energetic blockage, which gets stuck, and you become denser. And you express that in your body as aging and disease and stuff like that. But once you clear those things, then you become lighter, and then literally you're moving into enlightenment, you're moving into awakening, you're moving into this higher frequency. So that should be enough to get us started.
It's absolutely enough to get it started. So there's so much that I resonate with, because I do feel like, what I love about focusing on frequency is it kind of takes out all the story, right? It's what are we
Yes.
focusing? We're focusing on the frequency. So with that, let's kind of dive into some different ways that, the thing that kind of came to me is the emotion, and emotion is connected to programming, and that's what we're all unraveling. So what are some ways that you can kind of support people in unraveling those programs that are connected to emotion? I know that's a big part of your work, so I'm just going to let you kind of take that in the direction that you feel.
Let me preface this a little bit by explaining my understanding of the cosmos, and that'll make the whole emotion part a lot more clear. So basically, we're little aspects of God. We're fractals of source, and we've been given our free will to go out and do whatever. Now, of course, we've been programmed and structured about these are the good things to do and those are the bad things to do. And really, at the divine level, none of that applies. Okay, you have an experience, and if you fully complete it, you gain the wisdom of the experience, which is you feel the pain you caused somebody else, or you feel the love you caused somebody else, right? Because you're completing it fully. And then you have the wisdom of, ooh, yeah, that's a terrible thing to do, or that's a beautiful thing to do, right? Without the mind telling you the scripture of it, because sometimes smacking somebody in the face is the correct response. If you're totally in source and flow, it's sometimes it is. So because we don't fully express a feeling or an emotion, the wisdom is not sent back to source. So source doesn't grow. We're kind of little God bots for the God's eyes and ears, the way I understand it. But more importantly, the system is set up so that it's self-regulating. If you don't complete an emotion, all right, fully express it, it creates an energetic blockage in your body, but also creates a resonance to attract more experience to you to try to break it loose. Now, the problem is if you didn't finish it the first time, you're very unlikely to finish it the second time, right? So then it gets a bigger block and a bigger block as it keeps attracting. And then you spend your whole life, 50, 60 years, wondering why you're doing the same thing over and over and why it keeps sucking. Okay. And so you got to understand, you got to finish that full emotion, and then it clears, then you gain the wisdom. And once it clears, then you're free to do what you choose to do. Now, with that, of course, comes programming. Most of the programming that we get is placed in us between birth and 6, right? And some of it is from karma, from our other lives and stuff like that. And some of it is our soul deciding to come into the planet and clear something because it's just tired of carrying it around. Okay. Right. But the programming is working unconsciously. So when you have the clearing and you finish the emotion, then you're free. And then you can actually take control of your consciousness. Most people are not their consciousness. Most people are their local mind. And they don't even understand that they could be something else. Like if you ask the question, who am I? Your mind will tell you. But then if you ask the second question, who asked the question, who am I? Okay, then you start to understand you're conscious and you don't have to do that. And that's why doubt and programming keeps us in these ruts. So the first thing is understanding that's kind of how the system works. And then the second thing is to understand, hey, I'm attracting everything around me based on the energies I'm holding and the beliefs that are cycling unconsciously. What is my opportunity to complete here? What is my opportunity to fully experience this moment and grow and become?
So there's a couple of things. Okay, there's one thing I want to go back to because I always like to listen to people that are listening to this. Sorry.
There's your cat. Go cat.
There goes the plant. It's all about having fun, right? In this house.
Yep. That cat knows what it's doing.
Oh, yes, yes.
So before we go on, I have to tell you this.
Okay.
I have to tell you this. So this cat goes and catches a bird, and this person says, bad cat. And the cat says, good bird.
I love that. It's all in perspective, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so let me see if I can go back. Okay, so you were talking about the first time that you don't fully complete an emotion, and then how that will start to create density, and then you keep attracting that. And you had a comment there that it's very unlikely that you'll complete it. And immediately I heard somebody ask, why do you feel that is true? And not that it's not true, but I feel like there's a level of awareness there that if we go back to that, it will be so perfect to bridge it into the next place.
Yeah. So it's not fair to say you won't complete it. It's more fair to say if you didn't do it the first time and you don't understand it as a blockage, the second time it comes to you, you will have the same kind of experience and get the same kind of results. Like, this is my third divorce. Okay. That kind of thing. Because you keep repeating it because the same mental structure is in place, driven by the same blocked emotion, which is almost always a fear of not being loved or something like that.
I love that. Okay, so let's go and just say that that is the scenario. And what tool would you give to somebody so that they could have that awareness, the kind of that question, that way that you were saying, okay, well, there's the person that's having the thought, and then there's the person that's questioning the person that's having the thought. What would you invite for somebody to start stepping into that reality where they can at least start to see the perspective, just like the cat?
Right. So one of my favorite teachers said, awareness is the first step. Awareness is the last step.
Mm.
Okay. And so that's the primary tool, is to say, oh, this is going on around me, and understanding I'm a creator, not a victim here. Move into your God self. I'm a creator, not a victim here. This is going on around me. Obviously, I'm attracting this. What's going on? And that then opens up, ooh, it feels not so good in here. And that's where all the stuff that we've been beating down and stuffing down our whole life will come up and go, oh, oh. And so then the next step is to be aware of that holding. Okay. And that tightness. And then the more you're aware of it, the more it gives it expression and more expanse and clear. And then the third step is to take an active action. Oh, okay. I am feeling this. I need to clear it. What are my clearing tools? Now, my two go-to tools are the emotion code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which I've enhanced by using a circ and certain other techniques. You can actually go to my website, and on the page where it says processes, you can see a video on the enhanced emotion code. Now, he has not approved of any of this. I've even talked to him. So if you like his work, just do his work because it's fantastic. But if you want to see how I've added to it, then that's available to you.
Why don't you shout
So
out your website right here, just because you're talking about it? I feel like let's just go ahead and note that.
yeah. So it's becomingawesome.one.one, becomingawesome.one. And if you go to the processes page, that's where there's just free tools to
We'll
help
have
you.
that in the show notes as well for everyone.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you. So the emotion code's one of my go-tos, but the other one is a series of process I developed where you connect with your divine. And so you're never doing this alone, because that's why it's so scary and hard to begin with. You connect with your divine, and then you welcome in whatever you're holding. You're welcome here, fear. You're welcome here, anger. You're welcome. Okay. And you then allow it expression. And that means physically move it. Physically move it. Voice, doing things with your body, punching, screaming, yelling, kicking, shaking. Okay. All that has to physically come out. That then breaks the stuck dense energy loose, and you'll feel immediate relief. Everybody, after a good cry, you feel good, right? Okay. So you feel immediate relief. Now, the third part is super important. You got to replace it with something better. Okay. And that's where you're going right back to your divine and say, look, my unconscious has been holding a program for a long time. I don't even need to tell you what to put there, because I'll just put something limited in there. You got a bigger view of this. Give me some goodies right now and just reprogram. And then you sit there and you allow it to come to you, and you get refilled. Okay. And then after that, it's up to you whether or not you're going to be your mind or your consciousness, and you're going to run down that same rut in your mind that you've done 1,000 times before when the Tao kicks in, because that's mind's job. All right. Now, mind is not an enemy, but it's certain things that has a lower frequency, and you just got to choose to move the higher one. And then you got to realize, oh, I'm thinking this again, but I don't feel the same emotional charge around it. Oh, thank you, mind. And eventually you treat your mind like your grandmother who's got Alzheimer's, right? So you walk in the living room and she's telling you, look at that dirty shirt. You got a stain on it. Are you still dating that one person? That's terrible. Go fix your hair, right? And you sit there, because she's your Grams and she's raised you and she loves you. You sit there and say, Grams, I love you so much. I got to go now. Okay. And so you hear your mind, you acknowledge it, and then you move to the choice where you be your consciousness. So that, to me, is the whole clearing process in a nutshell.
That is, I love that. I love that with your grandma. And I don't know why this is coming, but I know that when this goes live, we're going to be right in the middle of all of these holidays. And I know a lot of people get triggered emotionally when they're around their family, which
Oh
is
yeah, I used to do AA, right? Thank God that saved my life. And it's the biggest thing. Oh, family, dad, mama, right? And those are the childhood traumas which got to be cleared. And so once you get enough wherewithal of, oh, this is a trigger, this is my pattern. I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm with my divine now. I'm strong enough to feel that trauma. And in half hour, an hour, you're done with it instead of a lifetime of attracting more and more of it.
I love that. So what I feel like this is an opportunity for those of you that are listening. Go into this holiday season as a practice of enlightenment by using some of these tools. And I know that Peter's going to take us through an actual process and maybe even do a couple of these before you go. And then use that other mind, that conscious mind, and notice what's different and put grandma in the back seat. And turn on some good music and just notice what's different, right? It's that easy.
Yeah, yeah. This is it. And so if you're at my website, becomingawesome.one.one, and you go to the processes page, there's going to be several processes, including healing relationships with your parents. And so if you get triggered by the holidays, go check that one out. That's a freebie from a class I taught, and you might get some relief out of that. And then also there's going to be clearing negative charges, clearing emotional blockages. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's right near the top of the list. And it's going to be an extended version, an 18-minute version of what we're going to do today. So, you just make a list of, oh, yeah, Uncle Ned triggers me this way and Sally triggers me that way. And you do your best to get to the root cause. When I work with people, I try to take them through a life review. I had one teacher, I love this teacher. He said, how do you know you're not already dead and this isn't your life review?
Mm,
Okay.
love
And
that.
so I know, right? So I look at it like, oh, okay. So I react this way when I'm around my Uncle Ned. All right. So what's there? And you have to go as honest as you can. And almost always there's some that happened in childhood, because that 0 to 6 when the programming kicks in or gets in placed. It's something that happened that is usually I'm not loved, I'm not received, I was put down or whatever at a certain point. And these may be tiny little things, but because we're a 6-year-old or a 4-year-old, we don't have a whole mental structure built up. It comes in and it becomes our world. And then because it comes unconscious, it runs for 30 or 40 years. And then we wonder why we get in the crappy relationships we get into or why we play the poverty game, because the programming makes it seem like that is normal.
I love that. You know what I was seeing when you were talking about the life review too? It's that's such a cool way of approaching something from another level of consciousness is what if you were with, I would say, your high self and you in that moment were observing the experience that you're actually in. How cool would it be? And then I see the movie Scrooge, right? Because we're getting ready to go into and so I'm like, all these synchronicities are coming through of how we can approach this in a really fun way and not take it so seriously, because that's where I feel like because those emotions are so dense, it's really easy to go in and start taking them super seriously to
Oh,
where
yeah.
we start to think that it's not easy to get past it because it's so heavy and dense. I love that you've come up with something that's just so simple and so easy and freeing instead of having to go and analyze and all that stuff. It's the 1 to 10. It really feels good to me. What do you think?
Cool.
Should we do this? Should we do a process?
Yeah. So some of you who are listening, we don't have a lot of time to individually take you through a life review, but just think about the most recent thing that has caused annoyance for you. Whatever it is, because if it's causing annoyance for you, there's something bigger, deeper there. Now you can follow that as much as you want. Uh, you might ask what your biggest fear is.
Mm.
Right. For most people, when I do individual sessions with them, for most people, it's they just don't think they're good enough, or they don't deserve it, or they're not able to, or they're not loved or not lovable. Someone ring a bell, not love, not lovable. So just pick from that list and just take a moment and just say, okay. And if you can, ask your sacred higher self, ask your unconscious, can you show me the root cause? Can you show me a memory of when this happened before? Now, it may not be from your childhood. It may be, because things repeat. So it may be when you left home, or maybe when you were a teenager, or maybe your first job, or it may be when you just had this other relationship that didn't work out. Just pick a big one. Doesn't matter. Show me the cause. And even if you think I've dealt with that, I've been in 10 years of therapy over that, don't worry about any of that. If you're still thinking about it, it's still there. Okay. So spend a moment to just allow that to come to you. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So now invoke your sacred higher self to be with you. Bring in your spirit team, your divine, whatever you call God. Okay. Any angels, ETs you work with, ask them to be with you. Bring in your ancestors. And now we're going to put out an open call to all beings of high frequency in service to love and light who are aligned with helping everybody seeing this, with helping you clear. Oh, that's nice. We just had a big influx of energy there. That's really nice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to amplify it. Is we're going to first, before I take you to the process, we're actually going to get in a oneness field. And we're going to spend about 5 minutes just connecting. And the reason for that is that both Jules and I have done a lot of clearing work. And by us getting in the field with you and connecting with you, we'll actually be there at a certain energetic level to help do some of the heavy lifting. So we're going to get into oneness field. And the way we're going to do that is you're going to see a column of light come from the sacred central sun down through your head. And you're going to feel that come into you. And it's going to go right down into your heart. And your heart lights up. Your head is tingling from it. Your heart lights up. And as you breathe out, you're going to breathe it out to everybody who's watching this, no matter what time it is, when this airs, doesn't matter. Because time and space don't matter to the divine, to the spirits. And then you're going to breathe it back in. All the beings that we invited, everybody viewing this, Jules and I and yourself, keep that breathing cycle going. Breathe it in from source. Feel your heart glow. Breathe it out. I'm going to play some music for just a couple of minutes, and you're just going to continue this cycle of breathing. beautiful. Now, if you care to, please repeat after me. I am my I am presence. And I am one with the I am presence of all humanity. Now, with that beautiful connection you feel, go to whatever you identified, whatever the feeling was that you identified, and tell it, you are welcome here. Fear, anger, feeling not loved, you are welcome here. See if you notice a tension or a tightness in your body when you welcome it in. If you do, put your hands on that place and breathe into it. Oh, yeah. Now see if there's any expression that wants to come out. Keep breathing into it. You're welcome here. Oh, join me. I'm already feeling what I'm connected to with all of you. Oh, yeah. If you're feeling stuck or tight, make a gesture or emotion. Make a sound. Make a sound with your voice. Give it expression. Oh, oh, good. Now, see if it's completely done. Sometimes your body will just go tense and go, oh, that was enough. That was too scary. We're done. See if there's there by welcoming it again. Welcome it in and see if there's still a charge in your body. There's still that tension. And let's, for those of you who still have holding some of this, give it another expression. You can actually tap or thump on that area where you feel it tight. Yeah. And just give it voice. Oh. Oh, that's it. Let it out. Give it voice. Give it movement. Welcome it. Release it. Feel it. Feel it flow out of you. Oh, great. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I want you to replace it. This is super important. Ask your divine to fill you up and see that light come in from your source to that place you felt it in your body. And know that you're receiving auspicious qualities. You don't even need to know what they are, but your divine does and knows, and it is giving you exactly what you need to replace what was there with something better. And we're just going to sit and allow that to come into that opening just for the next few minutes while the music plays. Now complete the experience with gratitude. Thank yourself, your body, for everything it's held and now has released. Thank your source, your divine, for everything you've been given.
That was amazing.
Thanks, Jules, for letting me do it. That was just a small taste of how this is done. But, I'm sorry that I like cry and emote during these things, but I get into the oneness field with you, and that's what's in the field, So I'm happy to help. But yeah, it's just kind of powerful, huh?
Yeah, it was fun. I was kind of moving around the field a little bit too and just kind of picking up on the different energies, and there was two that were pretty strong, and I'm sure it's because I'm holding them. Well, of course it is, but one was the feeling of being misunderstood, and which I feel like so many people that are kind of come in at those higher frequencies, that's like from inception, it's that misunderstood because they're looking to match their frequency with the outside world, and it's always higher, so they have that identifying in something that's not in the frequency that they came in at, and so it becomes a misunderstood. I don't know, that's what I was getting. And then the other one was, let me see if I can tap into it now. Oh shoot, it left. That was, so I guess that's the one we're supposed to that
Yeah.
that came
And
through.
let me just add to what you were saying, because the way I see it is that this is a rite of passage. This is us going into the next level, 5D. And nobody gives you the diploma, you claim it. Okay. And part of it is coming into a world that's not reflecting back to you that this is how everything is. Okay. And then we have to own that, oh, I'm still stronger in everything. And then I claim my place in 5D and Ascension. What that means, of course, is you go through and release all the blockages and fears about how you don't deserve it. That's why you came to do this rite of passage, so to speak. Yeah, it's super important what you just said. And yeah, I'm glad you were tapping into that. That's why I like connecting with you, is that you just pick these things up.
Yeah, I love that. You know what I was also feeling is, because when we went to the other side and the new frequencies were coming in, I just kept hearing, it's already here. Just where's your focus, right? It's already here. What's your focus? And I love that place of owning it, right? Because if you're listening to this, it's very likely that you're here to have a 5D experience, right? And what does that even really mean? And I had this thing come through, you hear people that are, oh, well, we're spiritual beings here to have a human experience. And I don't really agree with that. I feel like we're spiritual beings
With you.
here to bring the human experience into the spiritual.
Yeah, we're not going to have this and then go back to heaven. We're here to bring this into what is heaven.
Exactly. That gave me full body chills. Yes, I totally agree. So let's just say the spirit is what we would call 5D. It's we already are that. And so it's like, we're not really bringing anything up there. We're bringing our consciousness there so that we can actually see that the reality is already there, right?
And it's more than that. From what I've been accessing, is that it's not just, oh, we're going to learn our lesson and go there. We're expanding creation. We're going to a place that hasn't been. There's never been a whole planet that's ascended all at once. And what's happening in that is that all of us will claim our ability to connect and be powerful and everything. And that's going to create a different frequency in the universe. I've been working with Archangel Michael a lot, and he's been telling me that, we've been your teacher for a long time, Peter, but it's not widely known yet that we're here to learn from you. You have abilities that you're going to create that we do not have in our angelic realm, because of your ability to process with emotion and manifest as a result of that. And as you claim it and own it, then that frequency will be available to us. which is why we're getting so much help from the angelic realm, besides the fact that they're angels, but they're getting something out of it too. So we're creating something new, and it's not like we're just going to learn our lesson and move up. We're at the cutting edge of this.
I love that you said that, because I also feel that the body itself is a big part of this, is that we're ascending the body with it. Like, we're literally becoming something else. And in that, of course, reality, consciousness, however you want to see it, becomes this intelligence that is in a field beyond what we can really comprehend at this point. But I think that's the point, is that we always have something to become. And I love this conversation, Peter, where this is spot on. I hope that people are really tapping into how powerful this is, because this is what you're here for, right? It's
How powerful you are. Not you, Jules, but you are
yeah,
powerful. But you listening to this
yes,
conversation, how
yes.
powerful you are. That's the thing. And then, yeah, go from there. And there's a lot available to us. I just want to do a plug for my book right
Yeah,
there.
definitely. Shout out
It's
here.
it's my Ascension Handbook Level 1. It's the first of 3 that Spirit's told me to write. Hopefully I'll get the next 2 done in the year. Uh, that one literally came out in 6 weeks. It was just that I've never written a book before. I've been afraid of it, but Spirit's like, no, write this. And it's all I could do until it was done. And now I'm like, and they've already queued up the second book. And I'm like, wait, give me some time to breathe. And, but it's a step-by-step 3 simple process steps that you can follow to have 24/7 contact with your spirit, with your sacred higher self. And so yeah, if you're not getting it from the sources you already have, because there's no one right way to get there, this might be something. If you resonate with my energy, you might resonate with those steps.
I love that. Thank you for bringing that up, because we didn't talk about that before. So, and it's, go ahead and do one more shout out just in case people missed the title
Yeah.
and where they're going to find it.
So go to my website, becomingawesome.one, and if you scroll down, you'll see a link to it. It's on Amazon, and it's called My Ascension Handbook Level 1. And yeah, so that's all the shouting out.
Well, that's enough. That's perfect. It's what it is and where to get it. It's usually the direction that we need.
Oh, one more shout out. YouTube, Becoming Awesome on YouTube.
Okay, awesome. I love that. And I hope to do some more with that, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. Is
Yes,
there anything else?
hopefully we'll get together and we'll do an interview that I get to put on my YouTube channel. So I'm looking forward to that when it happens.
That'll be a lot of fun. And I hope everybody enjoyed this. And there was some light moments, there were some intense moments, and that is life, right? But maybe just checking in right now and feeling how you might feel a little different than maybe what before you got on the call, what you felt like when the call started, and now what you feel like. And then just being really conscious about bringing this new frequency that you're holding into whatever you're going to do after, because that's probably the most important part, is, can I hold consciousness in this new frequency that just entered my body, activated in my body, however you want to see it.
Yeah, and I just need to say too that this is the first time I've interacted with you, Jules, and God, you're just such a sweet soul. And everybody who's working with you is blessed to be in the, both the wisdom you offer, but also the energy field that you hold and create and help them to move into. So I just want to thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's really amazing. Well, I feel that the field that was created between the two of us, and then everybody coming into the field, we have all, everyone that's listening, whether you're listening to it live or whether you're listening to it, a couple months from now, the field is the field, right? And when we get to hang out in the field with others that are able to hang out there, it just creates something just pure magic for sure.
One more thing just to say, because it's crazy, is So I've been experimenting with a group consciousness with my meditation group. And so we've actually formed one. And now we have our own group consciousness, which is its own entity and thing that you can talk to like any other spirit. And it helps you all the time. It's like because everybody in the group has consented to be part of it. So when you pray, you're now praying with the power of 20 people or plus all the spirit team and everything. It's just crazy how fast. And then when somebody in the group manifests a skill or ability, then everybody gets it fairly quickly as they allow it. Just so we move really fast. So I'm actually trying to create that publicly now on our Patreon page, which is also becoming awesome on Patreon. Trying to do a weekly setup where we get together and create a group consciousness and be as big as people join. So this is kind of it. Let's why think about the field as something you go to as opposed to something you live in and are a part of.
I agree. Just a little shout out here. I believe that the field is us. I feel like we are this, we don't have to go into a story about it, but we are the quantum field, right? And then what keeps us separate is the observation of the field. But when we
Okay.
just step into the field, there's no separation.
Look, everybody knows Gaia as an entity, right? And if you look at the consciousness of all humanity as its own field, all right, and then you look at Gaia as the collection of all the consciousnesses of all the species, including the non-species things like minerals and other stuff like that. And so literally what we call our physical reality is the field of everybody in it. And so it's fun to say, hey, yeah, I'm in it. Yay.
I love that. And then we as conscious beings get to choose with that awareness of how we want to experience the field. And really that's going back to the frequency, releasing the density and all the wonderful things that you've brought to us today, those tools so that we can start to raise in frequency and experience the field in different
Yeah.
ways.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this and getting to enjoy your field. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my honor, Peter. And I just want to thank you. So, one more time, shout out on your website, and then we'll let everybody go and experience these energies.
Awesome.one.one. So becomingawesome.one. See you there.
All right, everyone, go be awesome. Thank you, Peter.
Blessings.